Hello everyone, welcome back to Manga Goblin if you're joining me once again, and hello if you're just joining me today on Manga Goblin. I'm Trix of course, and we're going to be looking at a manhwa. Well, it's called a manhwa and it's classified as a manhwa, but it's not published in Korea. It's published in a Chinese magazine called ACQQ, or the online platform ACQQ. It was released last year, and of course I'm talking about Detective Vlog. Detective Vlog is written and drawn by Xianman Wenhua, and it started, as I said, last year. Detective Vlog is a mystery horror type comic. Now, we've only got about 9 or 10 chapters, so it's a little early to give it a score under my system, but it is one of those things that popped up. There are certain scenes in it that make you want to continue reading and not be, well, it's not something you don't expect, but it also is something that plays on a lot of tropes. For example, horror tropes. Now, you don't need to know any horror tropes going into the manhwa or comic, but it does help because you see a lot of similarity, especially if you like your horror mangas, especially ones that feature, for example, thank you, sausage, abandoned buildings or school rooms or haunted objects. There's a lot of those tropes so far. Now, I'm not going to do any spoilers. But I am going to give you a brief overview of what it's about. Rong Xiaoqiang is a photographer, and he gets a present from his sister who is in hospital. His sister gives him a sparkly pink DVD player or digital video recorder, and somehow this digital recorder can photograph or capture real ghosts. There's no explanation behind it yet, but that's the basic overview. He joins a company, he meets some other individuals, and it kicks off from there. Now, as I said, there's only about 9 or 10 chapters out there. There is no official translation. There are some fan translations out there, which are pretty cool. The team doesn't really have a name, and the people involved either have personal nicknames or they really aren't mentioned much apart from the central character. So there's very little to go on as yet. So you have the person standing in front of the camera, who is the pretty boy. You have the expert on the supernatural, who is the side character. You have the guy that gives him the job, who looks like a rather nerdy, shifty producer that you might see in other mangas or other manhwas. And later on you do see another individual who owns the company, who comes across as a sort of comforting bear type individual. That's all we've got really. We don't have much more than that. It is worth checking out if you're interested in your horror comics or manhwas or mangas. Me, I'm not really into body horror, but I do occasionally read manga that have horror tropes in them, especially Muroko-chan. So it reminded me a little bit of Muroko-chan, but I would say this is more serious than Muroko-chan. So yeah, definitely give it a look-see if you're interested in horror comics, or give it a look-see if you just want to see a new spin on the horror genre. I want to add that the art is quite good. It's quite good, quite striking, but also it's nothing that we haven't seen before. The horror scenes themselves are very well drawn, so it does have something going for it. For example, the art, the dialogue is pretty decent. I'm not sure if it's improvised dialogue on the versions I've read, or it's actual direct or localization. I don't think it's localized, but it's pretty decent read. So yeah, the art is nothing that we've seen before, but I do really like the horror scenes that we've seen so far. There's a lot of things out there, plays on a lot of tropes, so do check it out. So thank you everyone for watching. Do take care of yourselves, and bye bye.